We call the heart of the formal meditation practice sitting meditation, or simply sitting. As with breathing, sitting is not foreign to anyone. We all sit, nothing special about that. But mindful sitting is different from ordinary sitting in the same way that mindful breathing is different from ordinary breathing. The difference, of course, is our awareness. To practice sitting, we make a special time and place for non-doing. This in itself can feel very foreign to us. We consciously adopt an alert and relaxed body posture so that we can feel relatively comfortable without moving. And then we reside with calm acceptance in the present moment, not trying to fill it with anything. It helps a lot to adopt an erect and dignified posture with your head, neck, and back aligned vertically. And this allows the breath to flow more easily. We usually practice a sitting meditation either on a chair or on the floor. If you choose a chair, the ideal is to use one that has a straight back that allows your feet to be flat on the floor. And we often recommend that, if possible, you sit away from the back of the chair so that your spine is self-supporting. But if you have to, leaning against the back of the chair is also just fine. If you choose to sit on the floor, do so on firm, thick cushion, which raises your buttocks off the floor 3 to 6 inches. You can even use a pillow folded over once or twice. That can do very nicely. Or you can purchase a meditation cushion or zafu specifically for sitting. There are a number of cross-legged sitting positions, and some people use when they sit on the floor, and you can go to any website to view those postures. Some people prefer the floor, but most sit on straight back chairs. Ultimately, it is not what you are sitting on that matters in meditation, but the sincerity of your effort. Whether you choose the floor or a cushion, posture is very important in meditation practice. It can be the outward support that cultivates an inner attitude of dignity, of patience, and self-acceptance. The main point to keep in mind about your posture is to try to keep the back, the neck, and the head aligned in the vertical, to relax the shoulders, and to do something comfortable with your hands. Usually we place our hands on the knees or we rest them in the lap, with the fingers of the left hand above the fingers of the right, and the tips of the thumbs just touching each other. So when we have assumed the posture we have selected, we bring our attention to our breath. We feel it come in, we feel it go out. We dwell in the present, moment by moment, breath by breath. It sounds simple, but it isn't. You will begin to think. You will notice your thinking. And we're not trying to get rid of the thinking. We simply say thinking and come back to the breath, back to the full awareness of the in-breath, full awareness of the out-breath, letting the breath just happen. We're the observer of it, feeling all the sensations, whether they're gross or very subtle, that are associated with it. It is simple, but it is not easy. We can probably all sit in front of a TV set or in a car on a trip for hours without giving it a thought. But when we try sitting in our house with nothing to watch but our breath, our body, and our mind, with nothing to entertain us and no place to go, the first thing we probably notice is that at least a part of us doesn't want to stay at this for very long. After perhaps a minute or 2 or 3 or 4, either the body or the mind will have had enough and will demand something else, either to shift to some other posture or to do something else entirely. This is inevitable, folks. It is at this point that the work of self-observation gets particularly interesting and fruitful. Normally, every time the mind moves, the body follows. If the mind is restless, the body is restless. If the mind wants a drink, the body goes to the kitchen sink or the refrigerator. If the mind says, "This is boring," then before you know it, the body is up and looking around for the next thing to do to keep the mind happy. It also works the other way around. If the body feels the slightest discomfort, it will shift to be more comfortable, or it will call on the mind to find something else for it to do, and again, you will be standing up literally before you know it. If you are genuinely committed to being more peaceful, more relaxed, you might wonder why it is that your mind is so quick to be bored with being with itself, and why your body is so restless and uncomfortable. You might wonder what is behind your impulses to fill each moment with something. What is behind your need to be entertained whenever you have an empty moment, to jump up, to get going, to get back to doing and being busy? What drives the body and the mind to reject being still? But in practicing meditation, we don't try to answer such questions. Rather, we simply observe the impulse to get up, or the thoughts that come into the mind. And instead of jumping up and doing whatever the mind decides is next on the agenda, we gently but firmly bring our attention back to the breath, back to the belly, back to the nostrils, wherever we might be observing the breath, just to continue to watch the breath moment by moment. We may ponder why the mind is like this for a moment or two, but basically we are practicing accepting each moment as it is, without reacting to how it is. By doing so, we are training our mind to be less reactive and more stable, not valuing any one above any other. And in this way, we are cultivating our natural ability to concentrate our mind. By repeatedly bringing our attention back to the breath each time it wanders off, concentration builds and deepens, much as muscles develop by repetitively lifting weights. Working regularly with and not struggling against the resistance of our own mind is what builds inner strength. At the same time, you are also developing patience and practicing being non-judgmental and self-compassionate. You are not giving yourself a hard time because your mind left the breath. You simply and matter-of-factly return it to the breath, gently but firmly. Mindfulness does not involve pushing thoughts away or walling ourselves off from them to quiet our mind. We are not trying to stop our thinking. Our thoughts will cascade through the mind. We are simply making room for them, observing them as thoughts, and letting them be, using the breath as our anchor or home base for observing, for reminding us to stay focused and calm. And so my advice for sitting meditation is to simply be the observer of your mind, be the observer of your body, and be kind and compassionate toward yourself. All in good time, the sitting practice will become easier and more natural. As with refining any new skill, persistence and patience are your best friends. Enjoy the practice.